Oops.
Don't worry, it's do a little cut, but
Ah, okay, okay. It's
we're
just
on.
starting the recording.
My friend, it's such an honor to have you back every time. It's so cool because I know you, I love you. We know each other for many years. I'm fans
Yeah.
of fan. But maybe for people that don't recognize your face or voice, who the hell are you, man?
Who the hell am I? Yeah, sure, brother. Love you too. And this is Fredrik. I'm the singer and songwriter for a Swedish punk rock band called Misconduct. And yeah, like you said, I know you since way back. And we had our love story between Sweden and Quebec, that we talked about before.
And we never forget, man. That's the
No,
cool.
no.
Um, last time we spoke was during the pandemic. There was nothing happening.
Yeah.
A lot of thing happening in the world of the misconduct, but there was no show, nothing. Now everything is back to normal in a way, and it was a huge year for misconduct because you did a lot. So maybe we can do a recap of what happened when everything get back to normal in March.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we had all the summer tours postponed like 2 years or so, like a lot. I mean, in 2019 we booked our 25th anniversary tour. That was gonna be like the biggest tour for us ever in 2020, but as we all know, it didn't happen. And I mean, safety first and health first, of course. But I mean, you still long for going out on the road again, especially to meet the crowd. For us in Misconduct, like meeting the crowd is like half of our music. Like it's this symbiosis between the crowd and the band at the live show that gives the songs the like the where they become complete. You know what I mean? So it was amazing to finally go back and play some shows again. And we started out just playing some shows this year in the late spring, because in June, July, and August we knew that we were gonna tour a lot and play a lot of shows. So we started out just playing a couple of shows here in Sweden, and we played with Ignite, our old friends in Ignite that we're visiting, and that was like a great kickoff. And we instantly felt like, oh my god, we missed this so much, and like the crowd was going nuts, and I mean, it was amazing. And then we did like more or less the whole summer we were on tour back and forth, and we did a lot of countries that we didn't play so much in the past, like more in Central Europe and Eastern Europe. And we also went back to a couple of countries that we toured a lot in the past, but we haven't been there for a couple of years for many reasons. For example, in Spain, we went back to play the Resurrection Fest, which is like one of the greatest festivals you can play in Spain, I think. Which was amazing. Like we played alongside of like Rise Against and Judas Priest, Bring Me the Horizon, like all those great bands, and that was pretty amazing. And should I just keep on talking?
No, but you mentioned Inyait. It's so cool because I know there's a huge friendship. The new singer is such amazing. You have to fill those boots, and it's a hard job, man. But the new record is fucking amazing.
Yeah, you
I mean,
mean Ellie?
yeah, it's
Yeah,
one
yeah,
of my favorite record this year's. It's fucking
yeah.
amazing.
It's great. Like the songs are so strong. Really good
Yeah,
stuff.
it feel right, you know. Sometimes when you change the singers, it's tough, but for them it was a good thing. Like they have more energy and everything. I
Yeah.
missed the whole lineup, but things go, and it was cool to see that they were on a surviving mud, and it worked. I love that record.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I love the old Ignite, and we used to tour with them and play lots of shows with them in the past. But this is like a new chapter for Ignite, and it fits really good, like you say, and like the new record is amazing.
It's cool. It's the same with you. You change the lineup, getting back in maybe old school way, and it's cool. And how was it? The vibe, getting back those people in the band. I know there's a huge friendship behind that. And how was it at first when you guys start jamming?
I mean, it was like it was not like kind of a big of a deal because like Eric and Simon has been in the band since like 2008, and why I mean, Eric left the band because he wants to pursue studies at the university, and he wasn't able to tour that much. And Simon became a father and had all this like private stuff. So also when we had the other lineup, Eric sometimes used to come with us on tour when Ole couldn't come because he also became a father and stuff like that. So it was very natural, and it felt actually really good to be back with Simon and Eric because I mean when we did the One Step Closer album together, it was like one of those records where we toured the most and we really like developed a lot as a band. So I mean it felt like we were never apart really.
Yeah, and it's cool. I love that. I love those story. It's beautiful. And sometimes you play with those people, and life gets you, things that you have to stop for a while, and then
Yeah,
getting back to it. And I'm sure it felt like it's like doing bicycle. You never lost it. It's just like, oh, we're there. Like 5 years later, it's the same energy, the same, chemistry, and it's just like in a click. And that's I love it.
yeah, totally. I mean like I said, it was like so natural, and also like sometimes Simon even came and just rehearsed with us because Martin was elsewhere living in another city. So and like they always been there, behind the scenes. You know what I mean? And I mean when you don't leave a band because there's any grudge or anything, you just because of natural reasons. I mean we always stayed friends. We hung out a lot. I mean, even when Simon and Eric was not in the band playing like touring, they were still like at my wedding, stuff like that. So we were really tight, good friends all the time. So it's like no drama, no big deal. Just like felt like going back to where we were supposed to be.
And the thing is, when you're in a band that, like most of musicians right now don't live through music through their heart or their project. And it's a tough thing. And it's really sad. I wish it could be different. But the thing is, your life is not based on getting money with the band. So there's a huge stress that you take off of the equation. And it's more easy with the friendship and everything because it's fun. It's like hanging with your pals that for 20, 30 years and
Yeah,
getting on tour with them, traveling and playing and meeting people, like you said, like reaching the family, because that's another thing.
yeah,
You mentioned it, like a huge part of Misconduct is the fans. It's the family. It's a family thing. And first time
yeah,
I met, I felt I'm part of the family, and it's cool. And that's why fans are so dedicated and love the band. And I know it's a natural thing that came from you. So missing that and playing virtually doesn't really work with Misconduct because you need the crowd, man.
yeah, yeah. Totally, totally. I totally agree, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like the symbiosis and the when we work together with the crowd at the live show, that's like when the songs become complete. And like you have this exchange of the energy and all the love. It's like we need
Wow.
that.
It's beautiful. It's cool. And like I said, I think that the crowd is always a member of the band, you know.
Yeah,
And misconduct is such an important element because you give a lot. Like let's face it, misconduct is a live band. I love the records. You're amazing in the studio, but when you hit the stage, like it's getting nuts. You never know what to expect, and yeah, that's the whole point of the band.
thanks, brother. It means a lot to me hearing you say that. Like, that's, I mean, it's live is the real thing.
It's true. It's true. And I think that when you lost something that you love so much and really like, we didn't get what we got from seeing show constantly. And when we lost it, people realize it. So I think that people know that we can lose that again. So it's getting more crazy live. So how was the crowd at the first row when you start playing again?
Yeah, I mean, it was like so crazy. And I mean, when we went to Örebro, that's like the city where Millencolin is from, and where we played with Ignite, it was like, I mean, Sweden is where I mean, we're born here, we grew up here, and sometimes, I mean, you don't want to be like spoiled brats, but sometimes you take things for granted, like, because it's like happening every day, and like maybe people started to take shows for granted, like you said. And now when there was such a long time where there was no shows and people came back, and it was like, Ignite and us, and a local band from Örebro playing, it was, people were getting nuts, and like it was like really intense. But the big realization came when we actually went to Spain to play the Resurrection Fest, because when we played there in 2011, actually with the same lineup as now, but then we were supposed to go back at 2015. But then our travel agency fucked up when they were booking the flight tickets, so they booked actually the flights to a day where we were not playing a show. So we had to cancel the whole thing. And then we booked the Resurrection Fest again at 2019 for 2020, but then came the COVID and everything. So now when we were going back in 2022, we were like, oh man, it would be so cool if we would play as big stage as back in 2011. Because then we played for like this big tent with maybe like 5,000 people, and was like amazing. It was like so crazy. But then you also think like, yeah, but maybe people forgot about us, because it's been a long time. You haven't been there for like 10 years. It's like insane. And then when we come back there, and we're actually coming really late to the show, so because flights this summer were crazy, like a lot of cancellations, and a lot of bands actually had to cancel shows as well, which was a pity. But we came there like last minute, just throw a sandwich in your mouth, swallow it with some coffee, you take your tight pants on, and you jump up on stage. And when we looked at the stage, it was like twice as big as the stage we played in 2011. And I mean, before we went on stage, it was like not really a lot of people there. And then we just talked to the crew, and we said like, we need to gather ourselves, so we will go on 10 minutes later. And but don't worry, we will cut two songs, or so we will still keep the set time. And when we just go together in this, like, hug each other, and we just say like, okay, let's just calm down, go out on stage and do an amazing show. And then when we come out 10 minutes later, it's like the whole stage is like, it's like totally packed, totally full, and it's like more than twice as much people as the last time. And from the first chord, there's stage dive, circle pit, like they get down and start rowing, it's like totally amazing. I think I broke my string on the guitar in like maybe the fourth song, and the guy asked me like, hey, I'll give me the guitar so I can change the string. And I'm like, don't even bother. I will just go into the crowd and I will stay there. I will not play any more guitar on this show. I will just be in the crowd singing with them. And that was the rest of the show. It was like so amazing. And when we stopped the last song, when we play Never Going Down, which we usually finish with, it's like this whole song where the crowd is singing all this whoa. And they won't stop singing. Like the set is over and they just keep on singing and singing and singing. And I just get tears in my eyes. You know, it's like so overwhelming. It's like so emotional. Goosebumps everywhere. That was crazy.
It felt like that people that go to show now, if they want to get drunk, they get more drunk than ever. If they have, like, if they're happy, they're more happy than ever. It's like it's duplicated because like people miss that, and it's the brain thing, man. When you go see a show, the stimulation with the brain is such high that it takes 2 days to really slow down, and that's why you're such in a high the day after the show. You go to work, for an example, a Sunday show, and then you go to work on Monday, and it's nothing. You just think about the show, you got the goosebumps, like you mentioned, and you just feel
Yeah.
right. And the day after, and then on Wednesday, you crash down.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm, I mean, all artists do stuff differently, but we have this thing in Misconduct that we don't really drink alcohol or anything before the show because we want to like feel 100% of the euphoria and the energy from the crowd. And I get totally high on life when we do a show like this, or any show. It's like there's no better drug in the world.
It is so true, and it's cool that you realize it, because it's another thing. I said you're a live band, but you're really professional in your approach. Even when you started up as a kid, the band, you guys knew where you wanted to go, and you knew the direction to take it. And of course, numbing yourself before a show, it's never a good idea. Like if it's cocaine, weed, or beer, it's always, there's people that can do it and it's good, but mostly of the time the crowd realize that it's just, and it's funny, the rock and roll thing that they sell to us, the 70s and 80s, where
Hmm.
like you're a rock star, you drink on stage, you puke, and I don't want to see anybody there's 40 or 50 puking on stage when I pay, like, and now the price of ticket is getting, higher and higher. I
Yeah.
don't want to see
Yeah.
that. I don't want to go see Maiden and see Bruce Dickinson puking, fat, and everything. I want to see the Bruce I know, like he's
Yeah.
playing, giving everything. And it's not
Yeah.
being straight edge or sober every day. It's just to take your shit and just, like, it's the show. It's that important for the people. It's that important for the band. And then after that, man, it's party time. You can, like,
Yeah.
become the way you want.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not pointing fingers or anything. Like every band, they do how they think it's best for them. But alcohol, drugs doesn't work for me. I mean, it's not my thing, and like I want to be totally sober when I do a show because I want to feel everything, my every single cell of my body. I want to feel this amazing feeling, this euphoria.
And it's cool because when you tell the story after, like, I trust people that are clean, like, and I remember it was like that outside, like somebody that was fucking wasted, and it didn't happen like that, man. Like, a lot of men understand that in hard ways, and I think it's cool to see that your new generation just throw that, concept of sex, drug, rock and rolls, and just that they are way more clean, like young artists in their 20s or beginning their 30s. I see them
Yeah,
in the radio show, and they drinking tea before the show. They train themselves, and it's beautiful to see, because after all, it's tough out there, and if you want to have a band that have some success and respect, that's what you need to do. It's a dedication, it's hard, it's a discipline, but it works. And I think that people that follow you guys, the family, like I talked
yeah,
about, they know that.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, I've seen bands that drank like a bottle of whiskey and went up on stage and they played the guitar like perfectly, but I could never do that. Like if I drink 4 beers, I've got to suck at playing, I'm gonna suck at singing. And when people pay to go to our concerts, we want to give them 110% always, you know.
The only thing you can buy to Fredrik if you see him before a show is a coffee.
Yeah, coffee. Oh yes, always
he
the
fucking
coffee.
I love coffee too, but I stopped drinking coffee at 3 p.m. That's my like never after 3 p.m. or I don't sleep. I don't understand people that drink a lot of coffee, like that can drink a coffee before going to sleep. Like maybe I'm too like I have too much energy. If I drink a coffee before I go to sleep, I will not sleep.
Yeah, but I think also what you're used to, because I started drinking coffee maybe when I was like 5 years old or something, because my I used to sit in the lap of my grandmother and have all these biscuits and putting them into her coffee and just like suck, uh, so and that then when I got the taste for the coffee, that was it. Like, I mean, I've been in like a coffee addict ever since that day, So that's what I got from my grandma. But it's like it's all good. I can sink like a double espresso before sleep, no problem.
That's crazy for me. It's like doing cocaine before trying to get to sleep.
Yeah, but I
Freaking
think
man.
it's like it has like reversed effect on me. Like I'm kind of hyper person, but like I can still drink the coffee and be calm. It's like weird.
Yeah, my girlfriend too. She's
Yeah,
really like she has so much energy and
yeah,
she
yeah,
can do. But I don't know. I can't. That and that's when, like you said, like everybody has their own thing. I'm more
yeah,
a
yeah.
guy, like smoking a little bit of weed before getting to sleep. It works, but not getting high. I'm not a cocaine. I hate that because my body doesn't work. Like so, coffee like 1 in a.m., 1 in
Yeah.
p.m., then it's done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, we're all different, man, and it's all good.
Do you and like I'm like I love beer. I'm a beer geeks. Are you a coffee geeks? Do you love like going to coffee shops and trying new coffee and diversity and everything?
Well, I'm not so much anymore because, like, uh, I know now exactly what I want. Like, I have this nerdy coffee machine at home. Like this barista stuff. Like, I buy beans and just like grind them and different stuff. But not so much going out to like coffee bars anymore. But so I'm more like you there, where like I'm really into trying different beers, really like nerdy when it comes to beers, and I'm actually brewing my own beers as well.
Oh, that is cool. That is cool. My brother's is brewing his own beer. It's tough, and that's what I love about beer because it's not that simple to create. It's easy to
No,
create a really bad beer, but creating
yeah,
a good tasting beer, it's really tough. And in Quebec, it's kind of new. I'm saying it's not that new, but it started up like 2010, like
yeah,
getting to microbrewery stuff, and we're late because you guys have 100 years of brewing all kind of beer in Europe, and here it's kind of the new thing. We
yeah,
have like Budweiser, Molson, and it was the same thing, and people get used to it. But now
yeah.
it's cool that we open ourselves to that, and we're kind of getting fucking good at it.
That's great. I'm really
And there,
looking forward to go back to your area and try some new beers. Totally.
next time you came, we're gonna do that.
Yeah,
If we have a day or two off, that would be rad to try like the best microbrewery around Quebec. I know them all. It would be great. You brew Misconduct beer. I
yeah,
wish I love Untap. We all untap the beer. It's an application where you can like tag the beer that you drink and give him a
yeah.
note. So if you don't remember, if you try it, you check and okay, that's not a good beer because it's costing a lot. But I wish I could untap that fucking beer.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we made like I made now so far like 4 or 5 different, and in Sweden we have this state monopoly shop. You like in normal shops you can only buy beers up to 3.5 percentage. So like all the other stuff you buy in special shops. So you have to have like a special deal with those shops because they're like run by the government. But it's the Swedish way of controlling um, the consumption a bit, because before we had these shops we were actually like like the whole Swedish um, society was not like it was too many young people drinking too much. This is like I think in this like 60s 70s, so I think it works kind of good, but there's some things that are a bit too complicated, and especially when you're gonna like release a beer or something, it's like such a big machinery. But we actually had a bit of like success getting those beers out and seemed to be kind of popular, so that's why we continue to make more. We were just gonna do one first for our anniversary, and that was it.
That's crazy, but it's such a good idea. Like beers, it's what bring a lot of people to punk rock. Let's face
Yeah.
it. When you're a kid, you want to have fun, have a couple of beers, and see a punk
Yeah.
rock band getting nuts.
Yeah.
And it's cool. But I feel you. It's tough to release a beer and try to conquer the world because every country has their own rules about that. And
Yeah.
in Quebec, it's a pain in the ass. It's so
Yeah.
sad. We're trying to fighting because the government said, okay, you love beer, Quebec. Do your own fucking beers. Because like those big corporate, they're paying us and they don't
Yeah.
like so we're gonna make that market really hard for everyone who try to have a microbrewery business. So what they
Yeah.
do is you cannot like they have the SAQ, which is like the Society of Alcohol of Quebec,
Yeah.
and they really pick their thing. And it's so tough to have beer outside Quebec because that's the thing. Like we don't have beer from Ontario, which is like a
Uh-huh.
fucking hour from here. We don't have
That's
beer.
weird.
It's really hard to find those, and it's the same thing with the U.S. and everything. So it's fucking funny because Quebec, Quebecers, people from Quebec, we always find our way. So we create group on Facebook where people that work outside Quebec go pick like beer from Ontario, and like we charge ourselves and like, hey guy, if you want some beer from Ontario, I'm
Yeah.
going next week, and we buy from the microbrewery, pick up and deliver it for us. That's the only way. So I know for like Misconduct having a Sweden beer in Quebec, it's kind of impossible. You have to pay so much taxes and so much stuff to get to the SAQ, and like
Mhm.
it's just like you lose money doing that. So there's no like there's no business wise in that. So it's sad.
But that's so weird when it's like Ontario and Quebec is different province, but still the same country.
Yeah, but it's our fucking life, It's always Quebec against the old Canada when you listen
Yeah.
to the government. But we fucking love each other's. It's just that we're divided because we're French, and
Yeah.
we have so weird laws that you don't have outside Quebec and the rest of
Yeah.
Canada. Like if you go to Ontario, you can have like fucking beer, beer for $3 or $4. In Quebec, it's fucking
Yeah.
$8 a micro beer, and $8
Yeah.
you think about it because there's some really bad products out there. They're
Yeah.
really like there are people that use the microbrewery thing to sell their bad products, and you pay
Yeah.
$8 for bad beer. You don't want to do that again. So it's weird. It's tough.
Yeah. Yeah. Hearing you talk about this makes me want to make my mission to bring our Swedish beer to Quebec.
Yeah, you will have to hide some in your luggage, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and when
Totally.
I will buy it from you like totally illegal, like and in the backstage where no one see
Yeah.
us. Nothing can happen bad, but we feel like we're doing something against the law. But it's
Yeah,
just it's funny and sad at the same
yeah.
way. Would
We
that
we
really matter?
we got this new really cool Anki cases for the guitars where you can bring like two guitars in one case. You know, this is really
Oh,
good when you're flying in. But next time we come to Quebec, we're not going to bring any guitars, only beer in the cases.
you have a lot of instrument guys.
So
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so
We all multi-instrumental. We play a lot of instrument on stage. And then like,
yeah, yeah. But we will just bring those big ass Anki cases full of beer and no guitars, no drums, no nothing, just beers. And
there's a
then we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll not play, only drink beer.
yeah, but you guys would be heroes. Like Misconduct didn't have. They have like case. They have
Yeah,
full. Their case were full of beer, and like, and they're like, yeah, they're fucking heroes. They try to, and that's the thing. Like the punk rock in Drublic didn't happen in Quebec. It was supposed to
yeah,
happen in Quebec, and it didn't because of that. Because Fat Mike got deal with microbrewery from the states,
yeah,
and since microbrewery from the state, they had to pay so much taxes and everything that no one would
yeah,
make money in Quebec. And he was pissed off about that. I think he made a post about it. And I was
yeah,
like, yeah, man, we're trying to fight against the machine. And like
yeah,
microbrewery, like owner, are like David against Goliath. Like it's
yeah.
so,
That's a pity. I mean, that would have been cool to have the Pumpkin Republic thing for you guys.
yeah. And the other thing is like, imagine like somebody like Anthony Grenier from People of Punk Rock Records, like be able
Hmm.
to sell Misconduct beer with the fucking vinyl. It would be like a fucking
Yeah,
hit. No,
that would be
no.
rad.
So
That would be
it's my
really
fight.
rad.
It's my fucking fight. I'm gonna change that.
How cool would it be to have like a like special edition super secret vinyl box that you send out, and the box is actually a beer can, but you have to put it together yourself. And then inside is a bag of beer.
That's so
That would
cool.
be so cool. Like the vinyl itself is not a vinyl, but it's a secret compartment of beer.
Yeah. I'm like, you got the whole deal. That's crazy. But yeah, it's like that around the world. It's sad, but yeah, it has to change, man. Because yeah, beer can really help the band. It's weird, but it's a good tool to promote yourself. And people are always in, like they're gonna buy a lot, and then they're gonna drink it and go buy the fucking shirts because they're
Yeah,
drunk
yeah.
and care
But
about money.
yeah, but I have to talk to Anthony at People of Punk Rock Records now, or if he's listening, he will know that now we will just make beer vinyls.
And you know that. I'm good friend with him. I love the dude, man. It's
I
he
know,
always
I know.
like. Do you know the band H and Go? It's a band from Quebec, and Max Brochu, their bassist, is actually getting like because Anthony put so much effort. Like his face is everywhere. Like so,
Yeah,
people recognize him and everything. So we did a contest. We were supposed to throw away a skate, and he
yeah,
gave his number, but it was not his number. It was Max Brochu number. So I gave like 1,000 times number during the radio show, and he was listening Netflix chill with his girlfriend, and his phone was nonstop ringing for the fucking skate.
that's
Anthony.
great. That's a good prank.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get back. Like I need revenge.
yeah. Just I just realized something. I mean, we recorded for some time now, but you know that your video is not showing, but maybe it's not supposed to.
No.
I can't see your video.
Oh, you don't see me.
No.
No, at all. So I'm doing that, and you don't see that. Oh yeah, don't worry. I'm seeing you. It's recording, but it's weird that Skype don't show me. I'm thinking it's because I'm fucking ugly.
What was that? What did you say? It's
I said I
because
think I'm just ugly. That's the thing, and Skype
no,
cut
no,
me.
no, 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 brother. You're not ugly. You're a beautiful person.
You too. We look really young. So you release a new song, and it's cool because Anti-Flag were in Quebec 2 weeks ago,
Yeah,
and
I
they did a
know.
yeah. It was a huge hit. Like every show was sold out. It was crazy. So you got Krish
Mm.
number two, which a good friend of yours on the songs. How did you met Krish the first time, and what's the bound behind Anti-Flag and Misconduct?
You know where I first met whole anti-flag, including Chris number two? That was in Quebec City, 1999.
No shit, you kidding me?
No, Snow Jam 5, 1999, together
Yeah,
with AFI, Gob, Bouncing Souls, Satanic Surfers. Was amazing lineup.
yeah, all my
Anti-flag,
there,
Misconduct.
crazy. And so that was
Yeah,
the first time you met them.
yeah,
They're amazing, dude. I did many interviews. They're such amazing human being.
yeah, yeah.
So
I mean,
so
when we came on that tour, I mean, we were like, yeah, I mean, we signed to Bad Taste Records in 1996. The first record came out in 97, and then in 99 when we released the New Direction album, it became really popular, and we had a lot of songs on different compilations, also in across Canada and US. And then we were asked to go on the Snow Jam tour. And then when we arrived for the first show, I mean, when you're flying in like that and you're like really young, unexperienced band, it's our first tour in North America. And we only have one guitar each, and but Anti-Flag, they were like so cool. They said like, you can use all our stuff, you can use our drum kit, you can use our amps, everything. Well, we're gonna take care of you. So, and we were like, we fell in love with that band instantly because they're such amazing people. I mean, we loved the band before we even heard the first song.
yeah, yeah, they were on New Red Archive Records.
Yeah,
First, and yeah, Anti-Flag had such an impact on my life. I came from the metal world. When I was in high school, I was a metalhead. I
yeah,
didn't really think about punk rock till like the end of high school because all my friends were into punk rock, and I was like, that's easy music to play. I don't care about that. I'm a fucking metal. It was a fucking
yeah.
cool.
Only tapping
And then I
solos for you.
metal yeah, but the full circle of metal is really easy to close. Like you get like at that time it was the black metal and every band start to sound the same, and I was like, oh shit. And
Hmm.
then I came to punk rock where everything was different, was crazy and exciting, and all my friends leave punk rock for metal. I'm like, fuck you dudes, you laugh about my metal in high school and now you call yourself metalhead, and now I'm a
Hmm.
fucking punk rocker and you're not.
Yeah,
But yeah, and Anti-Flag was one of the first band I heard through Party, and
hmm,
like Canada, like if whatever you listen to, it's get to you. Like that
yeah,
song, and then the evolution of the band is crazy when they bring Chris number to it. Really changed the
yeah,
thing. The Rancid when Lars came in, it really
yeah,
changed.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, when we toured with them, I think they just released the New Kind of Army,
Oh
and I think then later they actually went with the underground network, Fat Records, right?
yes, yes.
Yeah,
Underground Network really changed my life because that song was the main. Like I started the radio show around that era, and that
yeah,
song I played that song so many times because I said it's time. Like we need more people because when they
hmm,
released it, it was the kind of start of the decline of punk rock because of the emo stuff and label
yeah,
were leaving, and the excitement of the '90s was dying at that point. And a lot of band disband during like 2004 to 2010. And that's when I started the radio show. And I heard, hey man, I'm listening to your radio show. That's music I listened when I was in high school, when I was a teenager. And
yeah,
then like people are now in shows at their 40s. Yeah, you still listen to it because it's good. And
Hmm.
yeah, the excitement that now we have, it's cool because I missed that for many years because it kind of punk rock got lost at that time. But underground network is, man, it's another communication, it's another way to find people and bring them new music, bring them something more than those corporate radio playing that fucking like. If you like, is it like that in Sweden? Like, if I open the radio on weekend, it's always like journeys and 80s stuff and 90s stuff. There's nothing after like 2000.
Well, not really, actually. I mean, we have kind of good like public service radio that's actually like funded by the government. A lot of like good people work there, like good DJs and stuff. And then we of course have all those like different like rock stations and that play more like metal or punk or whatever, you know. But I mean, there's like a lot of podcasts nowadays that are like popular that do more like mix of interviews and playing punk rock music and stuff.
Yeah, here too. But on the radio, it's there's not much rock. The only rock radio we have is now trash talking radio, and yeah, there's a huge hole in the whole Quebec and Canada right now. There's really
Yeah,
few shows on the radio, but there's a lot of podcasts. But it's cool
yeah.
to see. But in Europe, it's still like, do you have the like when like the festival are broadcast on TVs? I saw that a lot in Germany's and the British do that too. We don't have that, and it's so fucking sad because, man, if you broadcast and people that got family that can be there can fucking pay like the $20 and see them on their own TV.
Yeah, that's great.
Do you
And
have
and
that in Sweden?
and some of those stations in Germany is actually also like broadcasting for free, which is really cool.
Cool, cool. Um, the questions that you cannot answer, but I will ask. When are we gonna see each other in Quebec?
Yeah, I was aiming for coming back next year actually, but uh, we don't know if we can make it fit in our schedule because like we have so many festivals in Europe, and sometimes unfortunately like they're on the same dates, you know. Good festivals in Quebec and good festivals in Europe, and also like it's the whole puzzle of life, you know, with the kids and everything. We can't be away like too much, you know. But we're like, I can only say like we're communicating with several festivals in Quebec province, and we will see what happens. Right now, we're really focusing on getting more singles out from the upcoming album because this new single, Punk Rock Holiday, that we did with Chris Number Two, it's going really well on like on all the digital platforms, so it feels really good.
That's so cool, man, and I understand that. I tried to get Viso on the Red Bridge this year's, and the date in Germany just got released, and yeah, I understand it, but I'm sure there's a spot. Let's try like for the Red Bridge next year's. Anthony, you owe me that, man, for that fucking Max Brushy number. I want Misconduct in 2044, and I want fucking Weezo, and that will be rad. We have to make it happen. But yeah, it's cool, and not just that festival. Like if you're promoters and everything, throw
Yeah,
offers, man. You want to see Misconduct back? It's your second home. You know that. Love you
yeah,
in
yeah.
Quebec, and the intensity will never stop, even if it takes times. And can't wait to hear the new records, man. It's like blood on our hands. That records, it mean a lot for me. Like I remember when I listened to it the first time, I was in a weird spot
Mhm.
in my life, and it really get me through a bad time. So Misconduct have a special place, you know that. But can't wait to hear new stuff. And I know that you took times, and when you took times, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, thank you, brother. I mean, it means a lot hearing you say that. I mean, I put a lot of work into the Blood on Our Hands album, and but I think this one is going to be just as good, or maybe even better, because I have a good feeling about this one.
Before we leave, I'm a huge Almighty Trigger Happy fans, and all
Yeah,
Nolan is good friends.
yeah.
In part, Curse Blessing Records. But you did a split with the Almighty Trigger Happy, and it's funny because at the end, you kind of redo one of their songs. And how that crazy idea came up, and how was the process of doing that split?
This the split with Trigger Happy.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that was like we met Al when we did the Snow Jam tour actually back in 1999. So we did that tour, and he actually helped us out a lot after the Snow Jam tour, because after Snow Jam, because that was like a traveling festival more or less, and we played some places where we went snowboarding and stuff like that. We, every show you had a hotel and stuff, but then we stayed in Canada, and then we stayed with Al for a couple of days in Ontario, and then before we went on another tour, and we also played some extra shows in Toronto where he lived, and we did some more shows around Ontario and Quebec after the Snow Jam tour. So we got to know both Al and John really good then, and then they came to Europe. This was in spring '99, and then in the fall of '99 they came and did like a 5-6 weeks tour with us in Europe, and then we started talking about doing this split thing. That from the beginning I think Al wanted to be called More Dangerous Than Free Beer, if I remember correctly.
That's brilliant. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah,
Cool. I love that split. It's a good records.
yeah.
Fredrik, thank you so much for the friendship and being so generous with me over the years, man. I appreciate so much and I respect you a lot, man. And what
Thank
you
you,
hear
man.
is that little guy. That one is fucking cartoon.
Thank you,
I'm
brother. Love you, man.
It's little bad. So thank you, brothers. We're gonna do a huge special on Monday,
Yeah,
and hell yeah, man, we're gonna play a new single, old stuff, new stuff, whatever. And thank you, man. Thank you so much for your time.
thank you, brother. Always a pleasure. Much love to you, your family, and the whole Quebec province. Really miss you guys.
Thank you, man. And the old Quebec love you. And of course, people, if you have a music budget, go grab Misconduct Records. There's the vinyl available on People of Punk Rock Records. And or if you have a lot of money, buy them directly on their website. Don't fucking buy Misconduct merch.
Yeah, do that.
Before we leave, I'm gonna celebrate my 41 anniversary in 2 weeks. So we do a huge special, and like I said, we're gonna play you. So if you want to wish happy birthday to me, that will be rad.
Of course, man. Big happy birthday to you, big guy, on the big 41. Peace and love, man.
Love you, brothers. Thank you, Frederick. Have a group. It's what? It's almost what? It's 11:30.
Yeah, here it's 11:30.
Have a good rest, and thank you, my brothers.
Thank you, man. Love you.
Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Peace.